What is going on, Jets fans and NFL fans? Welcome on in to Jets Media. My name is Richie. Hope everybody is enjoying their super wild card weekend. Now, us Jets fans, it's a little bittersweet when the playoffs start because it's like, when are we going to be part of this? It's 14 years and counting. It's ridiculous at this point, man. But at the end of the day, we all love football and we're excited to watch some playoff ball. But this video is about the New York Jets head coach and GM search. As you can see, the title of the video and all the graphics on your screen, I'm referencing an article on Bleacher Report talking about an NFL Network report, Tom Pelissero, highlighting that the New York Jets had a very strong interview with Aaron Glenn. Now, he could be the hottest name on the market, in my opinion, out of all the head coaches. Obviously, Mike Vrabel's up there. Brian Flores is up there. But Aaron Glenn is a name that a lot of teams are interested in. And he also rejected an interview with the New England Patriots. This guy's born to be a New York Jet, not to mention him being drafted by the New York Jets, playing with our organization for 8 seasons. So I want to give you guys my thoughts. Will the New York Jets hire Aaron Glenn? I definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments section because my prediction, I talked about even this week, if I had to look at all the candidates that the New York Jets are interviewing, which is, of course, a lot of guys, I feel like Aaron Glenn is the guy the New York Jets will eventually hire. I think the sides are both on the same page. The New Orleans Saints is a team that you got to look for Aaron Glenn to go to, but my prediction is Aaron Glenn, and I'm going to explain why I think Aaron Glenn will be a good person to hire. You guys in the comments, you let me know, who do you think the New York Jets will hire? Because obviously there's a lot of names out there besides Aaron Glenn, and this article is definitely an interesting one. So let's get straight into business. Hit the like button, folks. Subscribe to the channel. Let's jump in. So this article says, Glenn had strong New York Jets interview. Lions DC, one of the hottest head coaching candidates. Detroit Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn reportedly had an impressive interview with the New York Jets regarding the team's head coach vacancy. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reported on Saturday, which is today as I'm recording this video, that Glenn is one of the hottest candidates during the hiring cycle, and the Jets are considered a potential destination. Tom Pelissero said, keep an eye on the Jets as a possibility for Aaron Glenn. He played for that team. My understanding is he had a really strong interview. Expect him to be in the mix, though worth noting that New York is still going through about 20 different interviews for that job. So basically, the new information we're getting is they interviewed Aaron Glenn yesterday virtually, and apparently the interview was a good one. Now, we heard the same report when Mike Vrabel was interviewed with the Jets last week, and then all of a sudden the Patriots, they fire Mike Vrabel, they fire Jerod Mayo, and now everyone's assuming Mike Vrabel is going to be a Patriot. So now us fans and the Jets have to pivot to another candidate, and I think Aaron Glenn makes a lot of sense for a lot of reasons. And the first thing I want to say, which is why I feel like the Jets are going to hire Aaron Glenn, is the feeling is mutual on both sides. Aaron Glenn has ties to this Jets organization. He was drafted here. He was actually stolen from the Jets in an expansion draft, right? He was here for 8 years, and the Jets put him on as one of the 5 players that could get stolen in the Houston Texans expansion draft. Some people say the Jets did it, for cap reasons. They wanted to get rid of him for cap reasons. I mean, listen, I was 2 years old when that happened. It was 2002, or I was 4 years old, whatever the case may be. So I became a fan of the Jets in like 2006, 2007 when I was like 8 or 9 years old. So the Aaron Glenn era, I wasn't really alive. I was alive, but I wasn't old enough to understand what was going on. So it was new information. I found out what happened with Aaron Glenn. And then when Aaron Glenn left to the Jets, he was a Pro Bowler for Houston, went to a few other teams, played for New Orleans Saints, and then he came to the Jets and was in the scouting department under Woody Johnson, and then he was eventually a defensive backs coach for the New Orleans, and then, of course, he became the defensive coordinator for Detroit. And I feel like a good thing about Aaron Glenn that I love, he's still in constant communication with Bill Parcells, who obviously was his head coach at the time, and they had a lot of success on that defense. And I think when you hear the name Bill Parcells, that's like the last time this Jets team had a really good head coach. Of course, you got to bring up Rex Ryan, who's also up for the job. Rex Ryan is the last man to get the Jets to the playoffs. So Bill Parcells, though, could he have some Bill Parcells in him? They still have a really consistent relationship. And also, I feel like Aaron Glenn has an idea of this city and the media market. And I think us Jets fans understand that you need to be able to be strong-minded to deal with this. We're seeing hit piece article after hit piece article. When you lose, it's really loud, and they try to drive you out of town. How can he handle that? Does he have the right mental fortitude to deal with that type of pressure? And then you talk about him as a coach, him as a human being. Is he the right guy for what this New York Jets team needs, right? Aaron Glenn, his qualities that I love personally is he's a guy that you can relate to with players. He has a brilliant defensive mind. He's a natural leader, and he's kind of that guy that won't that will hold his players accountable. I watched a clip of him on Hard Knocks. It was 2 years ago in Detroit, and he was ripping his defense to shreds. Basically, they had a bad practice, and the Detroit Lions offense had whatever they did, whatever they wanted to their defense in practice, and Aaron Glenn ripped them a new one, and that kind of woke me up. I'm like, wow. The Jets never really had a guy like this in a while that has that much fire and has that much accountability, and it seems like the players love playing for him. He was part of a turnaround. Let's not forget who the Detroit Lions were before Dan Campbell went to that organization and turned it around. And Dan Campbell is not a defensive guy. Like, Aaron Glenn is a big reason why their defense turned around. Now, is their defense a top 5 unit? No, but they're a championship-level defense, in my opinion. They play their best brand of football late in games, and they get clutch stops, and they're opportunistic. And not to mention, their defense has been the most injured defense in the entire NFL. They have the most starters on IR by a landslide, and they're still playing at a high level. I mean, the game that we saw last Sunday night, the Vikings game, I mean, Sam Darnold, obviously, we all see him break out, and he turned Sam Darnold back into a pumpkin in that game. And I give all the credit to the defense of Aaron Glenn. The red zone defense was ridiculous. The secondary, the defensive game plan really startled that Vikings offense, which is one of the best in the leagues with the best playmakers, Justin Jefferson, and they're injured. So that's another reason why I love Aaron Glenn. And I feel like we want someone that has ties to the New York Jets. Another one, of course, that has ties to the team is Rex Ryan, which is a popular name. His ties to the team, he's a former Jet coach, the last one to coach the Jets to bring him to the playoffs. He's vocal about the Jets on ESPN. But I feel like Aaron Glenn makes a lot of sense, and I feel like there's some people, if you want to say some negatives about Aaron Glenn, some people feel like, how is this different than Robert Saleh? First-year head coach is a negative. I definitely been saying I want someone with experience. Aaron Glenn does not have head coaching experience. Number 2, another defensive coordinator coming here, that speaks like Robert Saleh, a player's coach. Does it sound like Robert Saleh? Yeah, there's some similarities, but there's definitely some differences between Aaron Glenn and Robert Saleh, 110%, that I really like. So I feel like it's going to be up to, obviously, Woody Johnson to make the decision. And you look at the other candidates, I don't just want Aaron Glenn. For me, it's not Aaron Glenn or bust. There's a lot of other guys I love that the Jets are interviewing. Brian Flores, I would love. I think Josh McCown is a very sleeper dark horse. I think him as an OC would be good, but Josh McCown as a head coach is definitely intriguing. Spags from Kansas City is a name. Obviously, Rex Ryan is a name that you got to keep your mind open to. Mike Vrabel, you got to keep mentioning it until it's official that he goes to New England, but we're all expecting that to happen. Matt Nagy is a guy that more the offensive side that I don't really feel like any Jets fans are going to be down for. And then there's a laundry list of other names. Joe Brady, intriguing offensive candidate, but I feel like if I had to guess and put my money on who it's going to be, my money's on Aaron Glenn being the next Jets head coach. I could be dead wrong. There's so many candidates out there they're interviewing. I want you guys to let me know who you think the New York Jets head coach will be in the comment section. So that's going to wrap up this video, folks. Let's go Jets. Enjoy a wildcard weekend. And obviously, we have to talk about who the Jets are hiring at GM. That's a whole other conversation. And we'll talk about it all week long here on this YouTube channel. Love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, and peace out.